are back.
It is on.
Let's go.
Live from New York. It's a show that usually drinks like a nice green tea with a little dab of honey in it, and now just shotgunning Red Bull.
He's drinking Red Bull. This guy had a weekend during
What's
the week.
the first topic? Let's get to it, baby. Let's go.
He's been on tilt since the Ravens season fell apart.
We're all over
He was
the map.
yelling at Greg on Monday, off 2 days, now
This is
drinking
a
Red Bull.
special edition
Yes.
of First Things First. We're starting with the under 500 Chiefs. Lost to Jacksonville Monday night, although Mahomes did throw a 99-yard touchdown. Now preparing to take on the 4-1 Lions, who are on the longest winning streak in the NFL. Nick, did Monday's loss shake your faith in Kansas City? And because we didn't have a show, I already know the answer to this, because guess what? I listened to the What's Right podcast with Nick Wright.
Wow.
Had to get
Trying
my
to get some
daily
tips
input.
on how to pod. Fledgling enterprise. What do they call me, Wilds?
Mr. Consistency.
So I have to be consistent on this. I hated that loss so much. I hated it. And it feels like the sports gods were a little cruel to me personally in that regard, that I was not able to enjoy the greatest moment the Prince has had since the playoff victory against, if I may steal a turn of phrase from Brew, another one of everybody's All-Americans, Matthew Stafford. Or I'm sorry, Justin Herbert, pardon me. Because it came at the expense of my team. All last year, I railed against these stats that were like, the Chiefs are the worst 5-0 team in 10 years. You know what those same exact stats are saying this week? The Chiefs are the best 2-3 team in 10 years. I hate that. I don't want to be the best 2-3 team. I've said forever on this show, I believe winning is a skill. I do not care about your look at the yards per play, look about the explosive. And so the things the Chiefs did well in that game are not things that A, I value immensely when it comes to winning a championship, and B, not concerns I had. If I went into that game worried about the Chiefs' offense, then I would understand why that game would make one feel better. But I take as a given that with a healthy Patrick Mahomes and a functional offensive line and a receiving core with a pulse, the Chiefs are going to be able to score points. So I was not shocked that they moved the ball. But I said on this show 3 weeks ago, what makes the Chiefs different from these other teams is while they might not blow people out the way other teams do, they don't blow leads. They were up 14 points. I said all week, they can't lose that game if they don't turn the ball over. And Patrick, listen, even the greats got. That was no one's fault. It was Patrick's mistake. It was a great play by Lloyd, and he got. He didn't see him. That's rare, but it happened. I hate dumb penalties. It was rife with them all over the game.
13.
And special teams matter. And the Chiefs' special teams this year, where it's always been at an advantage, was a deficit. Again, it's a fifth straight game Butker made a mistake, and the same special teams player, Jack Cochran, had back-to-back holding penalties on kick returns, the last of which I think cost him a chance to tie the game. If he doesn't hold there, I think they get in field goal range. So it didn't shake my faith, but it was maddening, and it was incredibly damaging because they had the opportunity, Brew, to erase the 0-2 start divisionally and just be one game behind Buffalo. And they had it. Yep. They had that game, and they gave it away. And I'm not used to the Chiefs giving away games, so that bothered me. I still think they have the ability to be a great team, but you got to win football games. And they didn't win the football game.
Very fair.
That's why they call me the mayor of fair as well.
Very fair.
I said after they trampled on my Ravens, the Chiefs are back. And now after that game, I'm saying, no, they're not. You know, and what I mean by back, I still believe like they're one of the best. I really do. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. But when they beat the Ravens, and you were right, like your first, it sounded foolish at the time, But the Ravens defense is just that bad. And 28 points against Jacksonville is not bad because they have a really good defense. But in that game against the Ravens, it like, oh my. And wait till Rice gets back. Like, the offense is going to be great. And a lot of that was just how bad the Ravens defense is. Although they have improved with Worthy.
Yeah, I thought the offense was excellent against Jacksonville. I mean, Patrick made a mistake. They're one play from 35 points. You know, against a very good.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, the offense wasn't bad, but this loss, what it told me is they're a good team, and I know the record isn't good, but I view them as one of the best teams in the AFC, but not head and shoulders above everybody else in the AFC. And that's really what they've been for almost all of Mahomes' career since Brady left the AFC. That's what they've been pretty much, except for since 2021 when they started the season slowly. Now that year, though, Kelsey was still in his prime. Tyreek Hill was still there. This year, while like I said, obviously I'm still giving them a shot to get to the Super Bowl. But Mahomes that was a huge mistake, the pick six. Kelsey's made the mistakes against Philly when he dropped the pass that led to the interception in the red zone. Harrison Butker's made mistakes and missed field goals.
And Chris had the real bad
moment. And Chris
was
just loafing. Yeah, so you're seeing some of their top guys. I'm not going to say they're not plugged in, but it's just different. Like, you usually don't see that. So, and on top of that, Nick, there's this. They haven't beaten a team. The three teams they've played with winning records have all beaten them.
That's right.
So, look, I think they'll bounce back. I think when they get Rice back, there's going to be another jump. But right now, for at least, they're just another good team in the AFC.
That's fair. The Chris Jones thing made a lot of waves. I couldn't tell, like, is he hurt? Did he misread the play? Is there something else going on?
No, I think I think he misread I think that
he thought it was over.
He thought it was over. And then by the time it's not, to me, it's worse aesthetically than it is impact. Because once he saw...
You don't think he could have made...
No. I do. If he would have just kept going...
I think he
could have maybe dove on him and hit him in the backfield. Yeah. But I'm saying once he realized he wasn't down there, if he would have started sprinting at that moment, it would have looked better. It would have changed nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Once he is like almost parallel with him. So listen, Chris Jones, that game was 8 days removed from him going to a funeral for a family member, flying back moments later and playing in a game. I am not going to question that man's commitment to winning and the team and all of that. It was a bad moment. You know what I mean? And I would almost put it in the same bucket as the play in the Super Bowl where Mahomes is running for his life. Kelsey thinks the play is over, and Kelsey is just walking. I should have them pull the video. And then Mahomes kind of escapes and then fumbles and has to recover himself, and Kelsey is checked out on the play. It's a bad look, but I don't think it's indicative of who they are.
Yeah.
I do think that the 2021 example, Brew, is a right one, where they started 3-4. And this team now,
I think they were 2-3 at one point?
Probably. I don't remember. I know they lost. They got blown out by the Titans to fall to 3-4, and then they had the pass heard around the world, and the season turned around. I can't even do my bit about the tackle that turned the tide.
Oh, the tackle that turned.
Just the numbers. The Mahomes.
That's in jeopardy. We'll see.
Turn the tide for the team or for Mahomes, because Patrick he made the mistake, but I thought the passing offense was excellent in that game, so they're going to have to follow more of the model of the 2019 Chiefs. Be an explosive offense and have the defense come through in big spots rather than a dominant defense.
All right, we are doing all of the segments, and of course, when you see the snow start to fall out of the studio, that means we're headed up to a higher altitude. Let's take a look.
Let's go.
Special Thursday edition of The Mountain, and we've taken a more animated turn as Dak and the Cowboys have a bit of a pep in their step. Also, gloves and a hat. Meanwhile, Baker and the Bucs mapping their way to an MVP. At the same time, Bo Nix and the Broncos continue to impress in Denver, where he does have an unfair advantage because he plays at altitude. It's in the Mountain Time Zone. Nevertheless, let's see where all the quarterbacks fall as we climb Mahomes Mountain. There we go. We're back on the mountain, and we've also welcomed Greg from base camp. Greg, welcome, of course.
Great to see you, buddy. Despite how mean you are to me on social media all the time.
That what you know
It
what?
was unnecessary. It was unnecessary is how I felt, Greg.
Is it? What are we talking? You know what? Since you mentioned it, and I was muted in the first
Since you
topic
mentioned it.
intentionally.
What do you mean?
America, because of
I actually requested you come. You're usually not in for the A block. Your
Well-
fee's too high.
well, guess
and
what?
so I requested you be here for the mountain, but also
before we even start the mountain,
Wow.
I just want to remind everyone what we're talking about because I know you. I know we know, but maybe not everyone who's tuned in right now knows. So if we can just take a little
What?
transport back in
We're
time,
in
really
the
quick,
snow.
and listen to what we're talking about and what was said.
I love it.
I do.
Jags Chiefs.
I do. Give me the Jaguars.
very often when you pick against the Chiefs, it's on a Friday. And then you don't have to deal with the fallout of your erroneous prediction. I know we're not on tomorrow because of baseball, but we are on again this week. Are you sure that's the direction you want to go? Yeah, I've never heard you be a big Jags
The question
guy.
is, are you sure?
Okay, you're kind of, you do.
Wow.
Erroneous prediction.
Wow.
Do you still feel that way?
I mean, obviously,
It doesn't matter how you feel. Miles,
Obviously-
we're on the mountain. Let's
Okay,
go.
all right, fair enough. Great to see you, Greg. All right,
Congrats.
on the mountain. Also, let's just show who's off the mountain so I'll explain some things. Once you've missed a couple weeks, you're off the mountain, but it will be designated for injury. So Lamar and Purdy are off. It is not based on play. Purdy maybe. But it's based on injury. They just shouldn't have a spot
Fair.
once it's more than a 1 week absence. Jake Browning off the mountain. He also is off his starting job.
Tough one.
Joe Flacco off the mountain, even though he's starting for a new team.
he
Cooper
could
Rush
jump
off
back
the
on.
mountain. Carson Wentz almost got on. I know Wentz and Bryce got wins this weekend. Wentz played better, not enough to get on the mountain. Bryce did not play that well. He's still off the mountain. Now, by the way, I'm very curious to see if we were able to upgrade our software so we don't have to be as color coordinated, reds on the left, screens on the right,
yes.
to, where people implied that the mountain was left to right when we all know it's
I do.
not. Bottom row, hanging on for dear life, Geno Smith.
Man.
It's sad. And it really, it's upsetting to me. More on Geno and the Raiders in tears. Justin Fields staying where he is. Shout out Dylan Gabriel.
Got there.
Got on the mountain. Kyler.
Yeah.
I guess. Can one of our intrepid NFL reporters please get to the bottom of, did they check him for a concussion because the football hit him in the head? I want to know. Everyone wants to know. Greg's trying not to laugh. We need this information. Cam Ward, you got a victory, I guess. Michael Penix had the week off. Jackson Dart's fine. That's the bottom of the mountain. You okay, KW?
Yeah, Jackson Dart also hanging on.
Hanging on. A lot of these guys are hanging on. Your guy Cam Ward. You know how we were talking about before the draft? He's the least discussed #1 pick of all time. That's working out in your favor so far, buddy. I'm telling you right now,
true.
it's very nice for him that we don't talk tight.
We're leading every day.
We still talk more about
Shador. Hey, Caleb, can you imagine Caleb having this start? Row 5, speaking of. Caleb and Aaron, they were off last week. They dropped because there were some good enough performances by row 6 guys that we had to make room for some guys, and we had to drop 2 guys who didn't play.
Wow.
They have an opportunity, obviously, to move back up. It's not really their fault. They were off. Other people did well. Bo Nix, really weird game. As bad as he's played in a year for the first 3 quarters and the best football of his pro career, in the 4th quarter he stays where he is, KW.
Look at it.
Who would have ever thought?
We never thought we'd see the day.
Never thought we'd see the
I
day.
didn't think he'd ever be back on the mountain.
I know. And that was
Correct.
on second round and climbing.
Climbing, and
Playing well, though.
he has played well enough that I will call him by his nickname rather than his given name. He's always been McCorkle on the mountain, if
That's
you
okay.
remember.
He
He's
likes
now
that.
Mac.
I thought you were going to say the
Tua's there, and Spencer Rattler has played well. The team has not played very well. I know they got the win, but his numbers are fine. Like, he actually is not their problem, so shout out to him. Row 5, Jordan Love stays where he is. Again, more on him in a moment, I'm sure. Justin Herbert has to fall. I understand the protection has been really shaky, but his play, particularly the last 2 weeks, but really most of the last 3 weeks, has been really shaky as well. Jaden Daniels, back healthy, playing well. He moved up and will probably move up further. CJ Stroud, here's the thing. CJ got a little bit of benefit of the doubt. He probably should have been further down the mountain before the Week 5 explosion given his play this year, so the Week 5 performance didn't propel him up higher. And shout out to the Prince. Listen, it was a very princely game if you've watched his whole career. There's a few goofballs. Listen, the guy's a rapscallion. He's a bit of a goof at times. Some would say dopey surfer boy. I wouldn't, some would. Regardless, you also saw some of the best of him. Yep. And some of those throws he made are what, and
that comeback,
the comeback, the throw to Brian Thomas, and a little of Clemson Trevor using his legs.
Yeah.
Coming out of school, he was a huge rushing threat. He hasn't been as much in the pros. He was on Monday night in the biggest regular season game he's played since his second year. Top 10. Shout out KW.
We're here.
Shout out.
We are here.
Shout out KW, Greg, KW. This is their row,
We're
bro.
out here.
I mean, Drake May deserves it. Just flatly deserves it. It's no grading on a curve. It's no anything. He's been very impressive. Sam Darnold, who you notice, Brew, KW doesn't get mad these days when we say he's a Darnold guy.
Yeah,
Beginning of the year, after that
Is
loss to
that
the
your guy?
Niners, he was like, I'm not a Darnold guy. I just like
necessarily a
14
Darnold guy.
wins,
You're a
4,000
big
yards.
Darnold.
Just take
No,
it.
I'm not.
Glow.
Just take it.
This
It's
is
fine.
take your victory
I
lap.
can't take that many victory laps.
Greg was not here and
so
got
fun.
very mad. Again, Greg, for a guy that has like real life muscles, he has even more Twitter muscles. He's real aggressive on social media, particularly towards your old buddy Nick Wright. He gets a lot of tweets about me that he could just ignore, and then he's like, great point, XOX32, let me expand on it. And so last week, Daniel Jones got dropped on the mountain. Greg got tweeted about it. He was like, I knew they would betray me while I'm gone. Well, you're back. He played well. Jalen Hurts, hardest player in the league to grade.
We'll see how it goes tonight.
We'll see. Yeah, Jalen Hurts stays where he is. All right, top 6. Dak still playing great. Matt Stafford, I got to tell you, I didn't feel awesome about dropping Matt Stafford because I think he's played fantastic. But they were a huge favorite. They did lose. And I think he's been great this year. Drop him just a tiny bit. Jared Goff continues to quietly just orchestrate one of the highest scoring offenses in the history of pro football. The Mountain has always had a reputation for fairness, contrary to what other people might say. And it will be further illustrated by this because we will have for the 4th consecutive week a different person atop the mountain.
This is
because Patrick has to drop.
Oh.
Patrick threw a listen, I understand the yardage numbers were good and all of that. Patrick threw a pick 6 that ended up flipping the game. You dropped because of that, even if the rest of the game you played really well. You were a favorite, you lost, fair is fair. Josh stays where he is. And for the first time ever, and I believe only the 6th different person, I'll have to check the full archives, to ever be atop the mountain.
Wow.
Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
Shout out to Baker, and also shout out to Baker for one of my favorite quotes of the week, which was, paraphrasing, yeah, that thing that I did yelling at the fans, I've been doing that my whole career. When I was in Cleveland, y'all hated it. Now y'all love it. It's just because I'm playing better. That is the latest edition
Now it shows
of Mahomes
guts.
Mountain. You're trying to figure out who's been on top?
Baker, Jalen, Josh, Lamar, Patrick.
And I believe there was a mountain that Joe Burrow was atop.
In your whole time of all the
Burrow.
years of
Yeah, I
doing
mean, we've
it?
only been doing it for 3.5 years.
Still, wow. Baker's in the half dozen.
Yeah, I mean,
he's number 6.
for some reason, I feel like Goff might have been a top at once.
He didn't
Goff?
get that.
I don't think you've ever
Ma-
put Goff atop the mountain.
Okay, again,
Greg.
we're going to
I
have to
can't
check the
imagine
archives.
Goff
Greg,
atop the mountain.
go ahead.
Josh got into the data.
So the mountain is very interesting. I could mess around with a couple names, but the one that I want to focus on is Dak. I feel like if I were able to move a guy up, I would move Dak up. And again, this is not knocking anybody above Dak, but he has an argument that can be made that there's been no other player. If you're in Tampa, you are definitely going to have this argument as well with Baker. But for Dak, there's no other player in the National Football League that has entered into this year with more expectation to do more and to be more for his club. And he has delivered. Not in terms of wins like some of these other guys like Baker, but in terms of productivity, absolutely. He's had the most completions, the most attempts because they're asking him to do more. Right. Their running game is benefiting because of what he's able to do in the passing game. He's about to get George Pickens paid.
That is true.
I mean, he's elevating the guys around him, and I can't speak more to it, but I could, but I'm not. Even when you look at the defense is poor. They're giving up the most yards. They're giving up arguably like top 4 or bottom 4, I should say, in points. Yet alone, this guy, because of what he's able to do offensively and with the weapons that he's been provided, no CeeDee Lamb, may I add, kept this team averaging over 30 points a game, the most yards in football as far as total offense. It's been impressive to see what he has been able to do. I know the record doesn't suggest that he should be because of it's
tapestry. And what you're saying is fair because he has 2 wins as far as the record goes. Patrick has 2 wins.
His record's better.
2-2-1 versus 2-3. Again, it's not left to right. However, if I were ranking the guys on that 3rd row, I would coincidentally have Dak first. And what Dak, Josh, Patrick, and Baker all have in common this year is, in my opinion, their offense asks them to basically do everything. I understand Josh has James Cook, but everything runs through him. For Baker, he has Emeka Egbuka, who's been unbelievable, but he's been orchestrating the comebacks. Patrick still leads the Chiefs in rushing, which is, again, not a good stat. And Dak, again, has good weapons. Great when CeeDee's there, good when he's not. But the defense is so bad, he has to do everything. So I understand the point. I think the 3 guys above him deserve to be above him, but I have no issue with what you said about Dak.
I want to talk about Jay. Why so low? Jay, why so low? J-Lo.
We did.
The Red Bull. Y'all are not feeling J-Lo on this show. I'm the only one. I mean, I'm the only one, and I'm not saying he should be in the 2nd row. Move him up a row. I don't think anybody in that row above him, May, Darnold, Jones, Hurts, is playing better than him.
What?
Only Jones has a higher passer rating. He's got Darnold, has a higher passer rating. And he's got Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's playing might be the best receiver in the league. And only Daniel Jones has a higher yards per attempt than J-Lo. But J-Lo has 2 more touchdowns than Jones does while playing 1 fewer game. All right, not to mention, let's see, Sam Darnold, I mentioned Jackson Smith-Njigba. Daniel Jones has Jonathan Taylor doing his thing. Drake May has a rejuvenated Stephon Diggs. Now, some of that's May, but still, Diggs is an elite talent. We know that. J-Lo does not have a wide receiver in the top 65 as far as yards, total yards.
But is that partially because they're spreading it out?
And they have so many.
They just have a bunch of
options. If you got one great one or even close to great, you feed them. You know that. I get it. They do have about 4 good receivers. But if he had one great one or even close to that, he would be getting him the ball more. He doesn't have a wide receiver in the top 90 as far as receptions.
Drew, you're not arguing that Drake May has better weapons than J-Lo, are you?
Well, Stephon Diggs is having a very good season, and J-Lo's top rusher, Josh Jacobs, who I do like, he's only averaging 3 yards a carry. He's only averaging 3 yards a carry. So I'm just saying, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's top 5 in passer rating. I think J-Lo should be up.
Listen, it's hard to move up off a bye, and so that's the other thing that hurts him. So but I know you thought he should have been moved up last week. I think this group, I don't think it's that we're not in love with J-Lo like you. I think it's more, we are more bothered by, they played weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Week
Pass.
3, he threw a pick to lose the game. And week 4, they almost blew that game as well at his hands. So I just think that
But he also had a great game.
He had a great game. No.
I mean,
that
he
game,
had
he
the
had a great
fumble.
game. And then at the end, there was that. I understand what you're saying. If I were to flip him with anybody, again, it's not left to right, but oddly, I'd probably flip him with Jalen Hurts. But I didn't want to argue with Wild.
Yeah,
Go
don't.
ahead.
Yeah. Jared Goff. Greg, this is a little bit for you. Also echoes one of my friends who is from Detroit who just randomly sends me Jared Goff data. I wasn't asking for it. It's like, here's a 3-page text on Jared Goff. I said, you know what? I'll have a little bit of Jared Goff love. I would flip Goff and Mahomes. They're playing each other. That game is Sunday night.
Yeah.
Mahomes has never beaten Goff, once with the Lions and that opening game. The other game was with the Rams, so we didn't really do a huge thing about it. So this is Goff this year, and I know that Danny likes to do a lot of Herbert, Peyton Manning stuff. Here's Goff and Peyton Manning, 12 passing touchdowns and a 75% completion percentage in the first 5 games. Peyton won MVP, made the Super Bowl. Goff MVP talks? I know I'm like Mr. MVP talks guy, but like Goff is in the mix.
Yes.
Then it's this season, Goff versus Mahomes. Goff has got him in everything except passing, yards.
What about since the tackle that turned the tide?
I didn't do the tackle that turned the tide because I didn't know if it was totally fair because he doesn't have a tackle that turned the tide. But if there was, I would, prorate the post-tackle that turned the tide and pre-tackle that turned the tide. And then last 3 seasons, just so it's, again, this is pre-tackle that turned the tide. But Jared Goff has just been so good, and we just kind of, wins, points, yards. Also, just as an added little bonus, we were very worried that the Ben Johnson effect would take everybody down a notch, and it hasn't seemed. Maybe that first game against the Packers, but since then,
he's been
Jared
awesome.
Goff has been cooked.
He's been awesome. Unfortunately, you're not giving enough credit to
tackle to
turn the tide. I mean, I do have the numbers. Oddly, just
You pulled up tackle to turn the tide.
There it is. I mean, again, since the tackle that turned the tide, he's been. Listen,
They still lower than Goff.
I'm not giving him a pass for the pick 6. The pick 6 hurts him.
6-1 and 12-2 line up.
Yeah, but
Goff's
that's oddly not including his rushing touchdowns, which I saw Josh made you put at the very bottom of your fancy graphic, where Patrick had more passing yards and then an additional 38 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. That's fine. I'm not here. This tackle to turn the tide. So I'm just saying, luckily they get to play each other this Sunday night, and we'll see. See that little fancy thing? See how Mahomes has more passing yards and then an additional 38 rushing yards, and Jared Goff doesn't run because his little hands drop the ball when he's running? Okay. I'm just telling you.
Well, actually, 12 if you count the
pick to the other team. Exactly right. So they're tied. Well done.
It's time now for a segment that grows more literal by the day, and it is scored must win. First up, the Eagles and their bipolar offense taking on the Giants tonight. Looking to bounce back from their first loss of the year. Saquon going up against his old team, which he feasted on, remember, in his last homecoming to the tune of 176 yards. Sirianni's like, want to break the record? He's like, nah, I'm fine. I got plenty of yards. Well, not this year. Down from 125 to 53. Who won last week? Do we remember? Coach won. So, Greg, that is your seat. You can choose to pass or play.
I will play.
Okay, here we go.
This is definitely a must-win. Look, this is a team that was setting the pace for not only the league but definitely the NFC in terms of the 1 seed. And now you tripped up, obviously, against the Broncos, and the style of which you have been playing is being in question. You have an opponent where you just got to win the games you're supposed to win. This is a game that you're supposed to win. I don't care how it looks, but you can't put yourself in a situation where you're fighting at the end of the season to get home playoff games, because road Eagles in the playoffs is different than home Eagles in the playoffs. The 2 road games that just Jalen Hurts has had, he's lost. Both against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When they play at home, it's a different team, and you're supposed to win this game. Go out there and get it.
Yeah, so I don't think a win in and of itself does much for Philly.
Interesting.
We've seen them be plenty, upset or dysfunctional might be too strong, but post a win, I know post this loss, they had a 2-hour meeting, Jalen, AJ, and Saquon, and this is really a Kevin Wilde's take that I've co-opted. That meeting's too long. Marriage counseling's 55 minutes, guys. Anything that wasn't accomplished in the first 45 minutes of that meeting's not going to be accomplished in minute 102. But that's neither here nor there. The answer is this, KW, and you alluded to it. It's a must-have Saquon go-off game. If Saquon Barkley, against the league's sixth worst rushing defense, in a game where he should be fresh since he got 1 second-half carry last week, cannot go off, then we just need to accept, okay, this is going to be a down year for Saquon. They are not going, and in his career, his super high usage years have been followed by at least slight, if not significant dips, and last year was his highest usage year by a mile. So it's a must-win with Saquon having a monster game. We are still going to think about him as anything close to last year's Saquon.
Definitely a must-win after that players-only meeting, whatever it was. You don't want to lose that momentum coming out of a meeting like that. You come out of that where everybody's talked about it like, oh, wow, okay, this is going to solve something, and lose to the hapless Giants, not good. Secondly, Nick was right about Saquon. The problem is he didn't name it. It's the must S-squared game. Must salvage Saquon game. All right? You got your former team you're playing against, right?
That's right.
And they're one of the worst rushing defenses in the league.
You're saying everything
all
I
right?
said.
Well, you didn't say that. They give up 140 yards a game. Okay.
40 yards a game.
And they allow 5.5 yards a carry.
What?
You go in there getting 3 yards a pop, something's wrong. Saquon hadn't had a 100-yard game all season, only 73 yards rushing in the last 2 games combined.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Throw in the towel. Guys, yikes. Wave it off. Obviously 1-0. Sorry. Sunday at 1 on Fox. Rams at Ravens. Favored by more than a touchdown. Now, Brew, you retired a show mainstay, and it might not come back against this powerful Rams offense. Let's look at the Rams offense. It's excellent, powered by everybody's All-American Matthew Stafford. Ravens defense continues to be terrible. Here, of course, is what you retired.
Oh, wow.
All the Ravens stuff. Well, we're just waiting for the day that we can bring it back out.
This would be a win worthy of bringing it back, but Lamar's not there, so.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be make it great.
You can just break the rules.
Go ahead.
Okay. Nick, it's your turn. You're down 1-0.
It is not a must-win because if they lose, everyone's just going to say, all right, after the bye, Lamar's back, and you have Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, rip off 5 out of 6 or something, and you're right back in it. However, a win would flip the season for them.
Ooh.
Because if they steal this win and then have that exact schedule coming up and Lamar coming back, they can sit there and say, guys, we're 2-4. Like, we're 2-4. We as bad as that would have sounded going into the season, it wouldn't have sounded that bad at all 3 days ago, knowing this is what was coming up in front of us. And the Chiefs, who nobody's given up on, are going to go into Week 7 either 2-4 or 3-3, and people are going to think they're fine. So I don't think they have to win. If they do win, I think they undergo a bit of a transformation psychologically of, guys, it's going to be fine. Lamar's going to come back. The defense isn't going to stay the worst in the league.
Psychological transformation.
No, and if they won, their defense would have to play well. Right?
Yes.
I mean, Cooper Rush not putting up 40 points, I don't think. So that's true. Not a must-win. Nobody expects them to win without Lamar. Like Nick said, the schedule, 1 out of 6, he named the teams, but only 1 of those 6 teams has a winning record. So they lose. I said it. That Chicago game a couple weeks ago, that Chicago game, that's really their season. That could be their season. So that's a huge game out of the bye, assuming Lamar will be back. Here's the other thing. It's also not a must-win for the Ravens, but it is a must-win for the Rams.
Oh, a little Rams.
Rams have lost 2 of their last 3. People think they're a Super Bowl contender, but they lost to San Francisco as banged up as they are with, no offense, but Mac Jones at quarterback. And so they got it. Look, Stafford has been putting up 400 yards a game almost over the last 2. He's got to cook against this team. If they don't and they lose, your morale is really dropping in a tough division that is going to be hard to survive. So, yeah, must win for the Rams.
No, it's a must win for the Ravens. Look, I don't care who's playing. Number one, are you going to compete? As a player, are you going to compete? Who are you? because we don't recognize who you are right now. As Raven Flock Nation, whatever you used to be, we need to see it. So with or without Lamar, you need to win. You need to show up and play like a Raven. Whatever that means to you in that building, do it. Must win. Give me that point, Wild.
That's all theatrics.
Well, you guys are like, well, you know, they're going to be like 1-14. They can make a run. Like, they're losing a lot of games. It's got to be a must win.
I didn't know theatrics got points.
That's the only thing you do.
Exactly.
Well, it's time now for the bonus round.
All right.
This is worth 3 points, so it's still anybody's ball. No, it's actually worth 2 points, so it's anybody's ball game. I'm sorry. I thought it was worth 3 points. Bengals and Green Bay. Flacco making his Cincy debut as a 14-point underdog. Now, the weird part is he's already beaten the Packers, but it was the worst win by any quarterback this season, but it still counts in the win column. Here he was against the Packers defense. But hey, that was enough for Cincinnati to sign him. So is this a must-win for the Packers? Again, this is the bonus round. But, Brew, you're leading off.
Absolutely. All right, it's definitely a must-win. They haven't won in their last 2 games. I know they tied one, but still, they haven't won. They've lost that momentum from the great start with the 2 big wins over Detroit and Washington. And it is a get-back game at Joe Flacco, a payback game because he beat them with Cleveland. On top of it being a must-win for Green Bay, it is a must-turn-back-the-clock game for Joe Flacco.
To just a few weeks ago.
No, to a couple years ago. He has turned back the clock before. 2 years ago in Cleveland, he was left for dead. He was old. Everybody had written him off. He goes out there, has a great run, and leads them to the playoffs. He must turn back the clock and play well to keep Jamar Chase and T. Higgins engaged, and really the rest of the team. If they go out there and lose their 4th straight game and Flacco plays poorly, he's supposed to be the cavalry. And he doesn't have it, then those guys might zone out for the rest of the season.
Wild, mark this point down. It's a must-win. You're coming off a bye. Clearly, we know that you got extra time to prepare for a team that everybody in your division who has played them thus far, aka Detroit, Minnesota, has smacked them. And just for giggles, real talk, guys, I'm gonna be there. Wow. I'm gonna be in the building. Get it done. Look, we want antics. I'll give you antics. You better not lose this game. And when I come to practice on Saturday, I better see effort like I'm going to see that translates to winning a game against the Bengals. We don't care about no stinking Bengals. Who they? Nobody cares. Win the game.
What type of practice do they do the day before the game?
Walk through at the hotel.
Okay, yeah.
No, I don't even know that Nick should go.
They're not on the road.
But how they're just going to be walking? You're like,
I want to see it in your eyes. I want to see the attention to detail. They don't know what that is. I know what it looks like. Coach, hold on, run that again.
Oh, yeah.
Walk through. Repeat it. I didn't like the way I saw it.
You were in a tough spot.
I'm not even going to try to get the point. I'm just going to try to give 2 quick pieces of analysis.
Is nice.
One is, what is a must-have is the Packer defense look like it looked the first 3 weeks and not the game we saw them tie against the Cowboys. Their path to the Super Bowl is having a top 3 defense in football. We thought they were going to have that. And the last one, this is an oldie but a goodie that I can't help myself but to bring up whenever something like this happens. Once upon a time, a lot of our friends and family in the media swore you could never sign a quarterback off the street and ask him to play within 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. It was impossible. They needed a month. Colin Kaepernick's not getting blackballed. It's just that it takes him a month to pick up a game plan. Since then, Baker flew southwest to LA, won a game 6 hours later. Joe Flacco was a Brown this week and is playing for the Bengals in 2 days. And everyone's like, see how it works. That was always a farce. Give Greg the point.
That wasn't bad, though.
That wasn't bad.
Thank you.
Greg still.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.